Good afternoon and welcome to our celebration of service. I'm Ron Barnes and it's an honor to be your president. The thought for the day: no one ever injured their eyesight by looking on the bright side. Now, that may be a problem when we have April 8th and the new, we're going to have a little problem maybe looking directly at the sun when we have the eclipse, but let's always look on the bright side because we're at Rotary and we're Rotarians. And for a reflection, Tracy Jovanovic. Tracy.
Thank you, Ron. Last week, Ron sent the agenda out, and I noticed that my name was next to the reflection. I said, uh-oh, better come up with something quick. And I was thinking about what Rotary can do for you, because I've been thinking about all the new members that we've had, et cetera. But then on Sunday, watching the news shows, there was a quote that came across that got me to thinking about other things. So the quote, and I can't remember which show it was, but they said, your heart, and I was thinking also, Aaron, about your talk last week and how complicated it is being Jewish. And the quote from Sunday was, your heart can't be big enough to hurt for both the Jewish population and the Palestinian population. And that really bothered me. And so I thought about that, and I was thinking about what can we do for Rotary? And then I was backing out of my driveway, and in our mailbox, I have these two magnet stickers. One is, and I've gotten lots of comments about this as well, one is the rainbow sticker with the hands holding a black hand, a white hand, and a heart. And one is the flag with the police, the blue stripe in it. And I've had people say, how can you have both those together? And my response to that is, I'm not going to let anybody dictate to me which team I'm on. I believe in the police. I believe in Black Lives Matter. I believe in loving each other. And it's a reminder to me each time I back out that I need to be gracious and recognize that there are varying opinions out there. And so all of these kind of came together as I was trying to figure out what can Rotary do for you. And I was thinking about how do we start the flywheel? How do we start the flywheel or be the butterfly that drives the change, specifically in our mindsets as we're becoming a society more of teams? I'm on this team or I'm on that team rather than one team. And this led me to think about the opportunity here at Rotary and specifically all the new members and whether I've done a good job doing everything I could or should do to make the members feel welcome. We've had 26 members since July alone, not counting last year, that have joined the club. And you look around, and Marilyn and I were just talking about this. You guys are so interesting. There's so much out there. And so have we reached out to meet and welcome these new friends as much as we should? Or do we wait for the lunch list and just check the box and say, yeah, I did it. I had coffee, move on. So it's an opportunity to really get a chance to talk to people and listen. You know, I'm a salesperson, so I always say talk, and I have to remind myself you have to listen. And are we listening to each other? It goes back to the original. Are our hearts big enough? Can we listen? Do we listen to each other? It's a problem. So do we make a point of sitting with different club members each time we come here on Tuesday? Do we sit at different tables and talk to each other? So I'd recommend we try to do that. Life's busy for all of us, but we can control and influence our opportunities. And Rotary is providing a great opportunity. It provides us with a unique opportunity to begin the catalyst for change by communicating and listening, being open to sharing thoughts and ideas, working and volunteering side by side. The volunteering opportunities that come up are amazing. You actually get to talk while you're doing all these things. So I encourage all the new members to get involved with the volunteering opportunities and let each other into your space. Don't be afraid to do that. As the membership chair, I get the unique opportunity to see in more detail the amazing experience and talent that we've collated over the years. I'd like to humbly ask that each of us nourish and treasure this opportunity for fellowship and enrichment by reaching out of our comfort zones and making sure we're inviting each other to the service activities and doing a little bit more than just checking the box on the list. Our hearts are big enough to hurt for both the Jewish and Palestinian population because our hearts are all human. We can all be the flywheel and start it here at a local level. And I'll just say that this is what Rotary can do for us. And in the words of Gandhi, we must all be the change that we want to see.
Hank Walter will introduce our guests.
Thanks, Ron. Hosting a guest is a great opportunity to introduce people to Rotary. And so I'd like to, in the spirit, I'm not a salesperson like like Tracy, but in the spirit of welcoming everyone, like to introduce all our guests and ask them to stand so they can be recognized. First, we have a couple students from Rotaract, Sterling Daniel and Ye Cater. And an old friend from the Sunrise Rotary Club, Phil Eskew. And I'm sorry, I missed another Rotaract student, June 1. Sorry about that. We have Darren Patterson from the Jasper Club and his guest, Darla Blasey. His sister, your sister. Ah. Okay. Oh, and your son Jacob. Okay. Great. We have two guests of Jeff Richardson, David Henry, who's also from the Sunrise Rotary Club, and Sue Scamballeri. Jim Sims's guest, Doris Sims. Alan Barker's guest, Alan Blankstein. And Judy Schroeder's guest, John Weichart. Joy, do we have any guests online?
Why, yes, we do. And I want to first, though, say welcome to the guests in the room, Rotaractors and other friends that I know. Online, Jim Bright's guests this afternoon. Dwight Thompson, who is a member of the Brown County Rotary Club, is joining us. And we're waiting, hopefully, for the arrival of Leslie Kustenkow, who is the Director of Philanthropy with Wonder Lab. And then hopefully our All Indiana Rotary Global Scholar, Noah Jager, will be hopping on as soon as he can. So welcome to everybody.
Thanks, Joy. And if any of you are interested in potentially joining the club, I'm sure there are lots of people here who would be happy to chat with you about it.
Thank you, Hank, and thank you, Joy. And welcome back, Jim Sims. He's been missing in action for many meetings, and we're glad to have Jim back with us. We have one birthday to celebrate, Cindy Neidhart, on February 2nd, Groundhog's Day, and one Rotary anniversary, Phil Emerson, 1 year. So congratulations to both of you. Each quarter, we have a drawing for an agency that we share a donation in honor of our speakers. And again, this quarter, we get a chance to have a drawing, and I would ask Lon Barker, the past president, I'll come down to him to handle the drawing. Okay, here we go. Drum roll, please. Drum roll, drum roll, drum roll. It is Sycamore Land Trust. I do have several announcements. One, Trent Deckard asked me to remind everyone that's on the foundation board that the Rotary Foundation Board will meet in this room at the conclusion of this meeting. So don't get away without stopping for the foundation board if you're on that board. Also like to mention that the district conference is going to be held in Evansville on April 20th. And again, the board agreed to help pay new members to join this event on Saturday. It's a one-day event. And again, if they haven't supported you in the past, we'd like to support you to go because we'd like to have as many of our club members attend the district conference as possible. I know that one is going to attend. Tracy is going to be a speaker at the conference talking about the role that we've had in having a great number of new members. And I think the other clubs around the district will enjoy hearing Tracy talk about her strategies on membership. I also like to mention that the strategic plan, thanks to Michael and his hard work and many of the committee chairs and our subcommittee that worked on it, it's in the board's hand for review. Board will act on it at its February 15th meeting. And then on the 20th, which is our club assembly, we will share it with you. But again, if you don't have a plan, any road will get you there. And Michael has worked hard with a lot of our members to pull this off. His comment to me today was, it's really easy when you have so many good Rotarians like we have, so involved in our community and doing what we do best. So thank you to all of you for that effort. Now we have induction of new members, which is always a pleasure. And we have 2 new members today. 3, oh, I'm sorry, I can't count. 3 new members will be joining us. So if the program team, the membership committee team and the new members will come forward, we will have the activity.
Classic Charlotte, she wanted to come this way. Woohoo! Maggie, Jim, and you want us, Tyler, you want it just go do it? With the new technology, we're trying to figure out how we can get everybody, including my Shindell head, thank you, Dad, online on a screen.
Shindell Head. All right, well, it's my great honor to give you a little background on our 3 new members. First, Jill Bond, these are in alphabetical order. Jill Bond currently serves as the news director of the Herald Times. She and her husband Cassidy moved to Bloomington in 2016. Jill holds a bachelor's degree in journalism from the University of Oregon and a master's degree in public affairs from Indiana University. Jill began her career with the Herald and News in Klamath Falls, Oregon, where she started as a reporter covering city government and agriculture. She also managed the night copy desk and served as news editor, directing coverage and coaching reporters. She came to Indiana to serve as a managing editor for the Kokomo Tribune. After 3 years, she decided to take a break from newspapers and moved to Bloomington to earn a master's degree. While at IU, she worked as the outreach coordinator for the Indiana Sustainability Development Program, which is now the McKinney Climate Fellows Program at IU's Environmental Resilience Institute. Before joining the staff of the Herald Times, she worked as a partnership specialist for the U.S. Census Bureau. Jill is the current president of the Park Ridge East Neighborhood Association and secretary of the Indiana Debate Commission. She and Cassie enjoy cooking, gardening, and travel. Welcome, Jill. Anna, Anna McCullough. Anna McCullough is a board-certified behavior analyst, supportive community service innovations. She specializes in treating severe and dangerous behavior. Anna has a passion for helping the autistic community through promoting and providing compassionate care and behavioral analysis. She received her bachelor's degree in behavioral neuroscience from Purdue University and her master's degree in applied behavioral analysis from Ball State. In her free time, Anna enjoys traveling, reading, hiking, and hanging out with her husband, son, and pets. Anna has volunteered at the community kitchen and Mother Hubbard's cupboard. She is committed to cleaning up trash off the streets in the neighborhood where she lives, and has a real passion for the people and the environment of Bloomington. She plans to pursue future possibilities that Rotary provides to improve the land and lives in her community. Welcome, Anna. Maggie Sullivan. Maggie Sullivan is a professional engineer and an experienced community organizer who holds a bachelor's degree in agricultural engineering from Purdue University. She has also worked for over 15 years in the fields of environmental consulting, local agriculture, and environmental education. For the last 4 years, she has worked as a watershed coordinator for the nonprofit Friends of Lake Monroe. Her husband, Will Amai, teaches game design at Indiana University, and they have one son, Oliver, age 9. A Bloomington native, she spent a year in Toulouse, France after graduating from Purdue. She then worked in Indianapolis for several years designing constructed wetlands and other green infrastructure. In 2005, she completed her permaculture program in Oregon and returned to Bloomington with a passion for sustainability. She volunteered with the Center for Sustainable Living and served as board president for several years while also co-authoring a green living blog with her husband. More recently, she has served as a board's president for Blooming Foods. Past work experience includes jobs with Sycamore Land Trust, Local Growers Guild, Ecologic, and Nature's Crossroads. Maggie is a lifetime Girl Scout and currently leads a troop of 3rd and 4th graders. She is actively involved with Women Writing for a Change and recently completed their Conscious Feminine Leadership Training Program. Her interests include writing, reading, quilting, fostering for animal shelter, bird watching, sustainable living, and ecological restoration. Welcome, Maggie.
Jill Bond, Anna McCullough, Maggie Sullivan. On behalf of the board and membership of the Bloomington Rotary Club, it is a great pleasure to welcome you all as the newest members of our club. We look forward to the fellowship that we will share, as well as your participation in the club projects that make our club, community, country, and world a better place. Though Rotary isn't a political organization, Rotarians are vitally concerned with good citizenship and the election of effective leaders to public office. While Rotary is not a religious organization, it is built on those highest principles that have served as a moral compass for people throughout the ages. Rotary is an organization of business, professional, and community leaders pledged to uphold the highest ethical and moral standards. Rotarians believe that worldwide fellowship and peace can be achieved when people work together and uphold the Rotary motto of service above self. Rotary activities exemplify the partnership, respect, and generosity that one would expect from people who believe they have a responsibility to help others. Jill, Anna, Maggie, you have been chosen for membership in the Bloomington Club because your fellow members believe you to be leaders in our community, and because you possess the qualities to champion the message and principles of Rotary. You are representatives of your vocation and talents within our club and community. You have now become ambassadors of Bloomington Rotary, carrying the ideals of service to all within your sphere of influence. Our community will know and judge Rotary by your character and service. We will also look to you for inspiration as we strive to become better Rotarians. Your sponsors will now pin you with the distinguishing badge of the Rotarian, your Rotary pin. We ask that you wear your Rotary pin with pride in your endeavors as a symbol of our recognition of your contribution towards a better world through your Rotary membership. Fellow Rotarians, please rise, and if you are able, welcome our newest Rotarians, Jill Bond, Anna McCullough, Maggie Sullivan. And now we'll take some pictures.
I should be reading Thank you. Congratulations.
again, our responsibility as members is to get to know these three individuals as our newest members. And Jim, you can come right on up to introduce the program.
Thank you, Ron, and hello, fellow Rotarians and guests. It's my pleasure indeed to welcome to the podium fellow Rotarian Erik Coyne. Erik has served as Chancellor of Ivy Tech Bloomington since May. Born and reared in Bloomington, Erik attended Monroe County Public Schools, and after graduating from high school, he received a nomination from Senator Richard Lugar to attend the U.S. Air Force Academy in Colorado. Now, while in the Air Force, Erik attended the University of Baltimore School of Law, where he was editor-in-chief of Law Review, and he graduated magna cum laude. Following law school, he began his legal career as a military attorney. An Iraqi war veteran, Erik deployed in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom, where he led attorneys and paralegals from all services, ensuring that enemy detainees received timely and appropriate reviews of their cases according to international law. With assignments around the world, Erik served in key positions, including Deputy Legal Counsel in the Office of the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Erik earned additional master's degrees in military and strategy studies from the National War College and Air Command and Staff College. And he was a distinguished graduate in both of those programs, received numerous awards, too many for me to list here. Following his retirement from the Air Force, Erik and his family returned to Bloomington, where he has served as the Chief Operating Officer and founder of the software company Folia. Also, he serves on the board of Boys and Girls Clubs of Bloomington and is an adjunct professor of public policy at IU. As Chancellor, Erik provides oversight for campus operations and services and ensures that the campus is meeting enrollment, completion, retention, and student success goals. He became a member of our Bloomington Rotary Club in September. Fellow Rotarians, please join me in extending a warm Rotary welcome to a fellow Rotarian and Chancellor of Ivy Tech, Erik Coyne.
Good afternoon. I hope everybody can hear me. I'll wander a little bit today. This is a real treat for me. Growing up here, I had known many Rotarians throughout my life. I know many of you personally. It's also a bit of a challenge because I know most of you are going to report back to my parents, so I've got to be a little careful here. I'm really honored to be here. It's a real privilege for me to return to Bloomington a few years ago and to now be the Chancellor at Ivy Tech. I'm going to talk a little bit about what it is that we do, who we are, and where we're headed over the next 15-20 minutes. And then I'm going to open it up to questions. And so I encourage your questions. There's one thing I've done since I started. You may notice my green shoes. I wander around in green shoes a lot. So Jill, you are a honorary Ivy Tech member with your green boots. I loved it. Love it. You'd fit right in on campus. So thanks. And I also want to give a shout out to one of my favorite all-time students, Miss Sims in the back, just graduated from Ivy Tech with her certificate in baking and summa cum laude. So congratulations, Miss Sims. It's a pleasure. There's a handful of programs. I wander around quite a bit during the day. There's a handful of programs that I always make a point of wandering to, and obviously that one would be the baking class. And so, they need sampling. There's always extras. But Miss Sims always had a great smile on her face and was an inspiration to a lot of the students and staff and faculty there. Just to see her energy and bring her big smile to the campus was always fun to see. So thanks. And I would like to ask, how many other Ivy Tech grads are there out there? Do we have out here? Any other grads? So good. I can tell you who we are. So a little bit about us. We have a regional focus, but statewide impact. We cover an 8-county service area. The way Ivy Tech is structured, we are the nation's largest singly accredited community college system. So there are 19 campuses located around the state, and we have a central office in Indianapolis. And oftentimes I am asked, how did you, as a military guy with no background in higher ed, end up at Ivy Tech? And I talk a lot about the structure. And I look at the structure. And if you think of a military organization, you think of a centralized headquarters, and you think of the autonomy and then bases all around that headquarters. I view Ivy Tech very similarly. We have, we get our directive and we get some strategic initiatives from our central office, but by and large, we're left a lot of autonomy to run our campuses as our regions and as our service areas need it. So for me, the structure really was one of the draws that I think are a lot of correlation between military service and community college in particular. So we have about 350 employees, give or take, depending on adjuncts, sometimes close to 400. And service area, there's about 350,000-ish people here in our service area. Of those counties, we last year had about 12,000 students. This year we'll have about close to 12,000 so far. And obviously we're still in the middle of spring semester. We run 8-week classes. So we'll have as the second 8 weeks kick off, I expect that number will go up a little bit too. So we'll have about 12,000 students again throughout this year. One thing to notice, our K-14, that's our dual credit students. We've made a real conscious effort to get out and work with our high schools to promote dual credit opportunities to our high schoolers so that they can earn college credit while they're still in high school. And that's largely free. And so they're earning credit, and we'll have probably 4 or 5 students at graduation in May who will graduate with their associate's degree before they even walk across the high school stage. And there'll be dozens more that have certificates, Indiana College Corps and whatnot. The average student has an opportunity, especially if they earn their Indiana College Corps, to show up at college as a sophomore. No questions asked, those credits come right in. And so they're saving, well over $10,000 just by completing that in their high school years. So it's a growing program for us as the state really puts an emphasis on high school education and getting those certificates and preparing them for the workforce. It's a real emphasis. Schools are now actually getting paid if a student graduates with a certificate or a diploma. The high school will start getting stipends and getting allowances for that. So as you can imagine, we're seeing a lot of the high school principals, interested in how do they expand this program. So that's hence the jump, about 10% jump over last year in our K-14 enrollment. A little bit about our campus, 60% female, 40% male. That pretty much tracks with the national average that you'll see across the US. We have about 60% that are your traditional, what I would call your traditional school age. And then after that, you start getting into your adult education workforce that we'll have. And then about 83% white, 6% Black African-American, and 4% 2 or more races. You'll see that tends to trend with our demographic here in the 8 counties. We have 40+ programs. We are focused on 8-week courses. We restructured the campus about 5 years ago to the 8-week model. We find that really helps students stay in school. The 8-week model, by the time you decide you want to drop out, it's already finals week and you might as well just stay, right? And so it has driven retention up amongst our students. The challenge is, and when I talk to students, I talk to them, I say, ask for help before you think you need it. 8 weeks goes by really fast. You've got to be on top of things. You miss a few sessions, for whatever reason, life gets in the way, you can find yourself behind quickly. So our faculty, our staff, our support, as I'll talk about wraparound services here in a minute, are designed to help them through that 8-week period. But I challenge our students, A, go to class. You need to be in class to pass class. And 2, ask for help before you need it. Because I really believe that most of us went through, the normal semester, and you kind of halfway through the semester, you're like, I might need some tutoring here. You don't have time. you need to just go ask before you need it. Because by the time that first quiz or first test comes along, it might be too late. So try and get folks in really early. And we found that to be a pretty successful model. And we're having a lot of success with that from a retention perspective. We offer on-campus classes, online classes, and then we have what's called Learn Anywhere, which is really an online class, except it happens at the same time. So if you have class Wednesday at 1 o'clock, you have class Wednesday at 1 o'clock, whether you hop on Zoom or whether you show up in person on campus, you can choose either. And then Ivy Online, which is our online programs, really taken off over the last few years. Those are asynchronous. And we tend to get a lot of IU students who take those classes, come over and take some classes with us to fill up kind of their schedule and fill some of those requirements. Two programs I want to highlight, Accelerated Program and ASAP Program. These are, they're essentially the same program, but one's for ASAP Program is for your traditional college age, so 22 and below. It's a 1-year program, and in that 1 year, you're going to earn your associate's degree. And it's a cohorted program. We usually get about 25 to 30 a year. We're trying to grow that. I think it is probably one of the best deals for a graduating senior in our region if you are thinking about going to college. We sort of mother hen you. We put our arms around you, Mama Bear, and over that year, we slowly kind of release you into the wild, if you will, and allow you to become a college student. And so we have incredible transfer rates to four-year institutions in that ASAP program. Students are going on and they are excelling. They're doing great. And I think that's for a couple reasons. One, I believe we have spent, I'm a parent of a senior in high school, and we've spent their entire life scheduling everything for them. Play dates when they were toddlers all the way to today, where every single session is scheduled for them. And then somehow miraculously, they graduate from high school and we drop them off at the front door of Mega U and go, good luck, and then wander off. And so they've got hours in their day that are now free that they just never had to schedule for themselves before. The ASAP program kind of takes care of that. It teaches them how to be a college student, allows them to have that schedule, but then slowly give them the confidence to be a college student on their own. And then when we release them out to transfer all these four-year institutions, they show up as a way more confident college student. So it's a real exciting program, one that I feel really strongly about and one that I look forward to growing here in our service region. Some of our students you see here, variety of different programs, welding. One of our star benefactors, you may notice, Miss Zietlow there in the bottom corner, has been a mainstay. We give about $150,000 a year in scholarships. That particular photo was taken at our scholarship event. There we go. And our photographer is here today. And so, just a tremendous amount of outpouring from our community, great benefactors, great support that we get from our community to allow our students to really soar and succeed. About 85% of our students will graduate debt-free. Those that have debt, it's pretty low. It averages about $2,000. 93% of our students are going to stay and work right here in our community. So you can see some of the different programs we offer, welding, some biotech. We're about to pick up really heavily with the CHIPS and Science Act on semiconductors. So you'll see a lot more here in the press and media here soon about a $4 million grant that we got from DoD to build a clean room and a training facility. We're going to start offering free summer camps to high schoolers around the region because we want to inspire that workforce to come and engage in tomorrow's jobs today. Sarah Crespo here is a great story. Sarah's a mom here in our county and in our community. Sarah came to Ivy Tech on a workforce development grant. She flourished. She's a mom, she's got teenagers. She flourished. She ended up president of our honor society, PTK, Phi Theta Kappa, which is our honor society. Went on to win basically at graduation last year. She was like dripping in medals. Went on to win every award possible and now is on a full ride at Indiana State. So Sarah still works at Ivy Tech. Indianapolis stole her, which is another thing that happens when you work in a centralized office system is they steal all your talent. But Indianapolis stole Sarah, but she's still in our system. This is just a great story for our community of how you take advantage of the programs we offer and see and step after step make a difference. Free to students, we have in-house mental health counseling. We have food pantry, tutoring. Ivy Cares is our emergency assistance program. We recently received about an $18,000 donation from 100+ women who care. So thank you if you're a part of that. That'll make a huge difference. We, the stories of the students that we are able to support, like tug at your heartstrings. We recently helped a woman through a domestic abuse issue. We helped a lady last fall who was pregnant and was having a hard time paying her electric bill. So it's how do we keep them in the classroom? How do we get them to graduate? How do we get them through? And so Ivy Cares is one of those ways where our community is making a difference and really helping our students progress when they need it, just to help them over that hump so that they can get to graduation. We have dedicated advisors, career coaches, and obviously financial aid. And I talked a little bit about scholarships. We'll give about $150,000 this year in scholarships. Alex Min is one of our students you see pictured there. Alex was another one of those honor society members. He was a refugee, came here. He actually can't go back home and ended up out of our PTK program, getting a full ride, and now is in college in Nebraska. So really proud of Alex. If you go to the Burmese restaurant during one of the holiday vacation breaks from college, Alex might wait on your table. One of the things we're doing is trying to figure out how to engage with AI, how to enter that into our lexicon, and how to work with AI more in our school. So I typed in woman writing a resume in the style of Picasso in AI, and that was the photo that got generated. Last week, one of our career coaches met with a young woman who had been laid off. Her employer had offered her resume service, and the product she got back, she just was totally disappointed with. Engaged with our career coaches, and we revamped her resume, and now she's able to go, and she's now interviewing for new jobs and got some more opportunity. It just opened doors for her. So there's all these wraparound services that we provide that many in the community aren't quite aware of. It is literally life-changing. Every week, I engage with people in our community or our students who tell me how Ivy Tech changed their life. I don't hear that. The Air Force Academy certainly changed my life, but not in the way that our students talk to me about how this changed their lives. Many single parents, many folks who otherwise would never have been able to attend college, Ivy Tech is a pathway for a better life. It is literally life-changing. And I hear it every single week. John Weikart's in the room too. So if you wanted to add a layer of, nerve wracking for me, bring one of your prior chancellors into the room. John can tell you too, he's heard all these stories. This is life-changing stuff. And we are incredibly proud to be able to offer that to our students. So where are we headed? This is what we did last year. A lot of cool stuff. And forging futures, cultivating communities. That is our strategic plan for the next couple of years as we look forward to what we can do in the future. We want to become Indiana's leader in empowering student and community partner success that fuels our regional economy. We are taking a hard look at all of our programs, taking a hard look at everything we do. How can we best serve the needs of our community, and how can we be that workforce development partner that our community needs for the semiconductor jobs, for the automation jobs that are coming, and our community needs to be prepared so we can accept the challenge. There are tons of resources available for us in this community if we can provide the workforce, and we stand ready to partner with the community to do just that. So we have 4 goals. I'm gonna go through these pretty quick. Enhance the student experience. One of the things we're doing this spring is we're building a new nursing skills lab. We're growing. We had an 8-bed skills lab. We're now going to expand that to 15 through a grant we got through IU Health, and are excited to see what option. This is just going to create a heightened quality of education and teaching that we'll be able to provide for our nursing students. We want to foster effective teaching and learning. We this summer hired a dean of teaching and learning, and she has hit the ground running. Every week, you see some of the emails she sends out with professional development articles. Every month we have an in-person or via Zoom, guest lecturer, really trying to, how can we improve on teaching and learning? We're starting to engage in debates amongst ourselves, discussions and dialogue. How can we better ourselves? How can we be better? AI is a big topic, obviously, as I previously referenced. So how can we be better? How can we get after that? Teaching and learning is a big piece of that. Online versus in person. How can we, students want to go online. There's a much, our online versus in person has basically flip-flopped from prior to the pandemic. So that's where students are. How do we meet them where they are, and how do we provide the best possible online experience for them? And so these are all kind of things that we're exploring and working through. I talked a lot about this before, but cultivating that regional economic growth, we want to be a partner. We want to be at the table. When we are cultivating or we're, recruiting new businesses to the region, Ivy Tech is going to train their workforce. We are the state's largest education and training consulting firm, essentially. We come in, we meet with business. What do you need? You need food handling? Cool, we'll teach you ServSafe. You need drivers? Cool, we'll start a CDL training class. You need whatever you need. We'll tailor it, we'll customize it. If we have it in our inventory, great. If we don't, we'll make it. So really excited about where we're headed and some of the opportunities in our region that already exist, and then the growth that's coming down the pipe. And last but not least, we want to drive operational excellence on campus. There's a number of things that this ties into. If I get hit by a, beer truck tomorrow and that's it, somebody should be able to pick up the baton and run and not have to guess what I was doing and what policies I had. So trying to incorporate a transparent level of transparency, trying to, really put into writing any policies, any procedures we have, those kind of things, to really just operationalize things, and then focus on skills training, for our community and our region. So you want to make a difference? You can click on that QR code, and you too can make a difference for our Ivy Tech students. We are really excited to be a partner in this community. I really think there is a tremendous amount of opportunity. We partner with IU. We have a lot of transfer pathways with our programs that come, students come straight from Ivy Tech over here to IU. We have the Hoosier Link program where IU students get offered an opportunity to live in the dorms at IU, but come to Ivy Tech for their first year of college. And that just gives them a little bit of extra support while still maintaining part of IU and maintaining that identity. I grew up here. I wear the green sneakers, but I'll be at the IU basketball game tonight. By the way, our basketball team's undefeated. And so having that partnership and that relationship with IU is incredibly important for us. And we are partners. We aren't in competition, we're partner. We fill a workforce need. We fill we are offering an entry into college that students can then transfer to IU and then grow from there. So we're real excited for that. So with that, I want to thank you for your time. This truly is an honor for me. Real privilege to be able to speak with you. I don't know if did I manage to run out of time yet? All right. So now time for Q&As, and I hear there's nothing but softballs.
Thank you, Eric, and it's great to have you and your fellow Ivy Tech team members here today and a part of Rotary. I've always been impressed with Ivy Tech, back to the John Weichart days, transitioning to Jenny Vaughn and now to you, and it's incredible. I mean, you've only been at the helm since what, May, and it sounds like you really hit the ground running and you really have your finger on the pulse of everything that's going on. I guess my question though is.
Oh, I thought you could just stop there. Thank you, thank you, Jim. Thank you.
Okay. Well, my question though is about some of the partnerships you've forged, and how you're training your students to have those job skills for the 21st century. I know later in February we're going to have Commander Luis Martinez here to talk, and among other things, I'm sure he's going to talk about the wonderful things Ivy Tech does. But can you speak to some of those partnerships that you have, and maybe give us a case study story?
Yeah, so it runs from sort of small business all the way to large businesses. We've obviously Connie Ferguson, Connie and Steve. Connie's the chairwoman of our board. Our building is called the Connie and Steve Ferguson Building, They've been great supporters, and Cook has been a great supporter of ours from the beginning. Cook has the My Pathway program, which is, we call it the Achieve Your Degree program, where we partner with businesses and they can offer a degree, for free to their employees who come over to be our students. The value of that is most programs, most businesses have a program like that, except the student has to pay up front. This program, the student doesn't have to put any costs up front. The student just meets some of the requirements, which is usually, pass the class. And then depending on the organization, it might be degrees in certain areas, pass the class, and then we bill the employer. And so that student is able to succeed without ever getting hit with a tuition bill. We find that is probably one of our biggest partnership programs that works really well. We've been able to partner down with Crane, as you mentioned, Commander Martinez. I will be introducing him next month when he comes to speak. We've become friends. He's a Naval Academy guy, and that's okay. I was hoping Noah Jager might join. I always love speaking to West Point guys. I have to talk a little slower usually, but yeah, there we go, yeah. Yeah, so down at Crane, we have a great partnership down there. We just did a DoD logistics program for them, kind of a tailor-made program. They needed some upskilling and they needed some training because folks weren't able to progress through their careers. And so we were able to build that program, which was a huge success, and we'll continue that. Obviously with enhanced in the semiconductor training is probably the biggest obvious one that's coming with the ME Commons and the Chips and Science Act funding that we're going to receive. We're going to build a whole clean room or a whole training environment over at our Indiana Center for Life Sciences building. So it'll be pretty exciting. And then, just all the biotech companies, I mentioned Cook, but Catalent, Simtra, Boston Scientific, we've got great relationships with them and are placing interns. We place a lot of interns down at French Lick as well on the culinary and the hospitality programs, and are looking to really expand into apprenticeship models. And I met with the building association a couple of weeks ago, and how can we advance on the skill, the trades? How can we advance that? How can we leverage apprenticeship model to build both their skills and continue, have a student continue on the academic path? So looking forward to that. The state of Indiana is adopting the apprenticeship model, and I think you'll see a lot more of that discussion coming up. Thank you, Jim.
Erik, that was a great presentation. There's a lot of talk about graduation rates from high school going down, and even fewer kids going to college in Indiana University or Indiana in general, not just IU, although Bloomington's doing quite well, and so are you, it sounds like. But generally speaking, what do you do to get to these kids sooner in high school? I know you're already reaching them because they're doing this, but to get them to know that continuing their education and even considering college is the right thing to do. What's your strategy there?
I think it's multifaceted, and I don't think Ivy Tech owns this space. I think it's a partnership. We work closely with IU, Vincennes, and other universities in Indiana. We have college and career readiness coaches in the high schools, and we partner in this program. So Ivy Tech employee, for example, might be in Bloomington North, might be at Bloomington North, but she is, her name's Haley, and she's promoting any of the universities. We're just talking to students about going to college. So you want to get to them early. I also think there's room to talk about the skills training and the trades and getting that skill as a pathway to college. It's not 4-year right out the gate isn't right for everybody. And I think we need to also acknowledge that a lot of our kids feel left behind because we aren't giving them an alternative. And so it's, oh, college or bust. Well, we offer an alternative pathway that's college and so it's career and college. It's, and so I think that having that conversation with students at a young age is really important. Our semiconductor, one of the things we're going to do is we're going to go out at the junior high and high school level and actually focus on STEM training. Take that, we don't quite have it this year, but I'm hoping next year we'll have a mobile version that we'll be able to go out into that 8 counties I talked about. You know, the parent in Orange County who's working every day isn't going to be able to drive their kid to Bloomington for summer camp to get this training. So we're going to try and go to them. I've got great partnerships with all these different superintendents. I've been on a traveling road show to meet with every superintendent in our region. And we've got great relationships where we can leverage their facilities, the high school. We can bring a mobile trailer in, maybe with the clean room, and we can expose them to that at a young age. And so that's where I think really it's that exposure. I also do think there's some real value and benefit to getting students on a campus, showing them what college is all about with it. You know, it's just not this big looming threat thing. So, all right, Miss Zelo, just one last question. No time. Okay. I'll take your question at the end, afterwards.
Stick around and answer questions. Because I know there's several out there. Charlotte has one, several, but I do want to honor our 1 o'clock time commitment. Erik, thank you. We will make a donation to the Sycamore Land Trust in honor of your presentation today. So thank you for that. There's several people that worked hard to make this meeting work today. Stacy Bruce from the Chamber, our greeter. Hank Walter, our stand-in introductions today. Joy Harder, our Zoom host. Tracy, the reflection that you gave today, Tracy Jovanovic. Our reporter, Kyla Cox-Deckard. By the way, if you don't know how much work it is to report on a meeting and get the Rotaract out, you need to try it someday. It's a lot of work. So thank you, Kyla, for your work. And Michael for handling the camera and mic operator. And obviously, Tyler for your work as our Zoom and audio producer. Next meeting will be here in the Frangipani room, and we'll be talking to Shane Mooney, speaking on creating a new Paul H. O'Neill Center for Leadership and Public Service, Partnership, Community Engagement Opportunities. That sounds like Rotary to me, so it ought to be a great presentation. Please stand and join me in the four-way test. The four-way test of the things we think, say, or do. First, is it the truth? Second, fair to all concerned. Third, will it build goodwill and better friendships? Fourth, will it be beneficial to all concerned? And fifth, is it fun?